We've all thought about it when cruising on the interstate. What if I could just put the throttle down and race all the other drivers on the road? While the police will stop you from doing that on the road, the only policing tonight will be the officials making sure all the drivers behave here at Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55. My name is Finicuna here with Connor Horn once more. Connor, as the season really starts to get to its middle point, Travis Beckner, he's been at the top of the standings as of late and top of the winnings column. We got to see it here. We always have to question after a couple wins in a row, who's going to be the one to upset the balance at the top of the order?
We'll just have to wait and see. I'm still not sure if there's even a bounty on him. I haven't seen anything like that, but there might as well be. These Gateway Nationals should be pretty darn fun if Travis Beckner's on top of his game, which we presume him to be. He's looking for 5 in a row, something no one's done in the short lifespan of this series. Tyler Gary got the 4 before Dalton Kane took the dirt track race at Charlotte away from him, as well as a few others, but Beckner can be the first one to get that 5-race winning streak. And it'll be a pretty good time to do it, going to a pretty long summer break with one more crown jewel to go before that summer break next week at Lucas Oil. Right now, it's the Gateway Nationals at I-55, and this should be pretty fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun here. Qualifying just starting off for these drivers. Everyone getting out on the racetrack immediately, and we'll see who's going to be one to be up near the top. Oh, it's Connor Horn. Not Connor Horn. Sorry, Connor Hughes is having some issues. Got Connor Horn up here in the booth with me, not on the racetrack.
Maybe another week.
But Connor Hughes working around at the moment across the line for him. He believes starting up a lap this time by. Off he goes into turns 1 and 2. And the unique feature about this track is the banking that these drivers got to deal with here. Almost as much banking at Bristol, especially on the high side of the racetrack.
A lot of banking to use. We'll see that get up to the high side of the racetrack, but what I'm seeing is a lot of hopping of that left front tire. You just see it going up and down, really in 1 and 2. It's where I saw it the most as Brad Slaughter Jr. times in at a 12 point, it looks like a 157. Travis Beckner an 11.972. Really a 968, somewhere around there. He's top of the board, but you can see how much these cars are bouncing through the corners. That's going to be something that drivers really struggle with, especially in traffic when they're trying to stay off one another. So that's something we have to look for, as well as Beckner went maybe a touch faster. He might have run, I don't know if he ran the same lap or not, but it was darn close. As Casey Borgmeyer, always very consistent. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, you can see, look, you can see right there on the edge of the corner exactly what you're talking about, that left front bouncing all over the place, and that's going to cost you some speed, as well as some handling in the corner that can cost you some time, but everyone trying to send it in there and get the best time possible. Borgmeyer at the moment 6th on the board. Ryan Bo, a great lap for him in the number 10, and as I say that, Jordan Navarro goes to the top of the standings in the 96 car.
Right in front of Jaden Freiberger as well. What a lap for Navarro. That's a huge deal if he could start one of these heats on the front, really on the pole. Freiberger trying to get that top side worked in a little bit. He's just trying to get some practice in at this point, but what a lap for the 96. A few others on track. Jacob York's always good at qualifying. He's on track right now. He just ran a 12.153. That's a little slower than he wants to go. He needs to pick it up 2/10 if he wants pole.
And you can see there the left front sending it as he dives down to the corner. And a very poor run off the corner. That's going to cost him there. And you can see him hit the wall in frustration. Clayton Johnson getting out on the racetrack in the 225 machine. And we'll see what he can do. We usually see this car near the top of the order.
And he's back. I don't think he's been here the past 2 or 3 weeks. One was for suspension. I think he just didn't show up last week, but always has speed, always a threat, and always very aggressive if he has to get through the field. So we'll have to look for that from the 225 as well. He's 10th on the board, trying to get a faster lap in lap number 2 at 11.950. Puts him 3rd on the board.
Won't be pole, but it will start on the front on pole for one of the heats should things remain. And I think we may see a shakeup in the order. Jacob Cannon's yet to get a time down. We saw a lot of speed out of this 93, his debut race last week at Lincoln Speedway. Very good showing for him. Definitely has a chance to get a race win, or several race wins, really, before this is done. He's actually going to call it out on his first lap. Did not like the run.
Couldn't quite see what happened there. I don't think he hit the wall. Maybe he got too low for his liking, but, you know, decided to shut that one down. Maybe he'll have one more chance. He's got minute and a half to do it. And trying to see, looks like Clayton Johnson just running laps. Bryce Senesac just ran a 12.262. That put him 13th. Can's going to go out again.
Right on board with the 93 machine as he works his way around turns 1 and 2. Tight line through there. Another tight line.
But a lap. 5th on the board, 11.986.
And welcome back to the track. Sorry, just didn't realize I had some mic issues there for a second, but got that sorted out just as we're getting ready to go for heat number 1 here. And a pretty decent order, a really stacked order, as I'm going to read off the driver's list in just a moment's time. Starting on pole will be Jordan Navarro in the 96. Very solid showing for him. I almost want to say it's his first pole of the season. As if someone, not entirely sure about that, but I'm pretty sure about that. Very solid job for him. Travis Beckner, we know, has been on pole several times, 4 times specifically in the 27. Didn't get that, but he's starting second place in this heat. Jordan Martin lined up in the 17 in third place at the moment. Second place in the standings. Don Kane, a race winner in this series. 1 win to his name. We're rolling off in the 7 in P4. Brad Slaughter Jr. rolling off in the 8 car in 5th. Connor Hughes lined up in 6th in the number 5 machine.
And we have probably the longest list of heat EOLs for the entire season. Unfortunately for the 96, he has an EOL for this heat. Also, I believe Connor Hughes has an EOL. Dalton Kane, I believe, does not. I'm just trying to see who might have one in this session. I know the 5 does, and I know in this heat, it's the 5 and 96. I believe that might be it, but it's going to be a long list in all 3 of our heats tonight.
A lot of bad boys. We were joking about drivers having to behave earlier in the pre-race. I mean, drivers haven't been behaving for some parts of the season. It's been getting rowdy here and there. We'll see if things can be rowdy here tonight at I-55. Pace truck is in. Drivers allowed to go in turn 3. And there we go. On pole now, Brad Slaughter Jr. leaning down the crossover from Travis Beckner immediately into turn 1.
He didn't time it very right. Beckner had enough time to get that run to the bottom into turn number 1. Now he's got the positioning to get that lead away from Slaughter.
Working hard to get it away from him, still battling hard on the outside, and Brad Slaughter struggling to get the turn off on the corner. It's going to cost him first, maybe even second. Dalton Kane throws a slider up the inside. He gets second place.
It just Slaughter looked like he didn't get the car kind of yawed out enough. It just seemed like he was trying to turn the wheel too far left. You got to turn right to go left a little bit, just like cars. It didn't really work for him quite there. Now he's back to third, and now Dalton, Kane, and Beckner chasing each other through the racetrack. Where have we seen that before?
Yeah, I've seen it all season long. These drivers race one another as Brad Slaughter is working his way, trying to catch back up. See, already a driver on the high line, Jordan Martin. I think it might be a little bit too early for that.
Yeah, it didn't really look too good that time. Time was pretty far off of what the leaders are doing, but it will get there for sure. It's just probably in the second to third heat, kind of at the end of heat 2 and the beginning of heat 3. We'll probably see that line really come in. But you already see guys using that banking in the middle of the racetrack. Beckner, Kane, Slaughter, all trying to run that middle line. As you see Martin now this time he's going to go to the flat. That's Navarro actually going to the flat bottom of the racetrack, but it didn't really work there.
See a couple drivers get up close to the wall. Got to be careful with that. Got to watch out for things to come in the air. In the air, white flag is flown for Travis Beckner. A really solid jump there. Immediately took the battle to Brad Slaughter Jr. Took the lead back, and he's going to be starting on pole here at I-55. A solid win there for Travis Beckner.
Yeah, really solid stuff. Just, you know, the initial start, where that restart zone is so important. And Slaughter didn't really wait when he needed to, and it just wasn't the right timing. You know, when you go into 3, that's really when you can go. Maybe could have gone a little bit earlier. I don't know how much time he really could have wasted there, because he almost, if he could have hit the pace car, he would have came darn close. So Beckner just timed it just perfectly, and that's why he's going for 5 in a row. The stuff like that, the instincts that he has on the dirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that a lot of that comes from him knowing how to start these things. He's restarted so many times in the series up near the front, so he knows how to play it and get it to his advantage. And we'll, as we move on from Heat 1 to Heat 2, we'll take a look at the field here for this heat. Jaden Freiberger in the 24 will be starting on pole for this one. Next to him, Jacob Cannon going to be starting in second. Ryan Zabot lined up in third in the number 10 machine. Casey Lakatos in fourth in the number 13. Back in row number 3, we Ed Robertson in the 64 and Christian DeBauer lined up in 6th in the 56 car.
I don't believe we have any Heat ULs in this one, so there's probably some drivers. These are the best ones, I suppose. We'll probably have more of them in Heat 3 for sure, but all good here, as we'll see. Once again, really the entry to 3 is not really wall, but just entry to 3 is when these drivers, when Freiberger can get things going. Really right around, I would say, here is when he can go at any point. He backed them way off the pace truck. He's going to go a little earlier than Slaughter did this time.
Jump the gun, off and away he will go. Jaden Freiberger taking point. Cannon trying to keep Zabot at bay. He was trying to work it on the inside. The inside still viable at this point. And a little bit of tap from Zabot. Going to send the 93 up the track. The 10 wants second place.
I think Cannon really wanted Zabot to back out of that. He forced the issue a little bit of contact, but Cannon got away with that second spot. As you can see, Freiberger pushing the limit on that high part of the racetrack, but I think the bottom's a little better. Jacob Cannon's showing it right now. He's entering middle, kind of turning it down on exit a little bit, and he's got the drive off to make this pass possibly.
Yeah, that high lane, I just don't think it's quite there. That inside lane's still very well put, and you can see the 93 is going to get it there on the entry. Slide up in front of the 24, forcing the jump on the brakes. New leader, 93.
And Freiberger got a little bit of right front damage from that. He didn't back out quite enough to try the crossover, so he's going to be in trouble, in danger of losing second to Zabot. And Casey Lakatos looking for a top 3. He got a little wiggle there in the middle of 1 and 2, lost some ground.
Lost some ground, but the 10 still working hard. Jaden Freiberger having to fight all race long, trying to defend the lead. Now trying to see if he can be in the top 3, or at least stay in second place. The outside lane looking a little bit better and better. Zabot trying to see, he might have to change it up, but it actually looks like Freiberger's trying to charge back for the lead. He's still right on the bumper, the 93.
Thought he jumped a cushion a little bit there in 1 and 2. You can see how hard that car is hopping when he gets way up to the top side, but he's getting decent enough runs off the corner to keep Zabot at bay, but Jacob Cannon's seeing exactly what he wants. Clean air, or dirty clean air, I should say, but he's pulling away at this one. Freiberger, Zabot gonna battle for second.
Yeah, it looks like no dice for the 24. It won't give it back. We'll hold on to second place, but the winner, Jacob Cannon, will get it done here in heat number 2. Zabot second, Lakatos, Robertson, DeBauer, your six finishers.
Lakatos goes around. No, he did a perfect almost 360 there, but really the only change for position was that battle for the race lead. Freiberger just couldn't quite time that slider to perfection. Now Beckner, probably not the person he wanted to see on the front row with him, so this should be a pretty interesting initial start to the race with him and Cannon on the front row, but we still got a third heat to sort out here.
Yeah, going to heat number 3 here, final heat of the evening. And we'll take a look here at your starting lineup. It'll be Clayton Johnson starting on pole for this one, the 225, and mention hasn't been here, and unfortunately I think he's going to have to take an EOL. You see him hanging back.
Let's see who has EOLs here. Clayton Johnson has one. The 101, Borgmeyer has one. Jacob York, who started 4th, has one. And the 09 and 35 don't. So half of this heat has that EOL. So Jacob Bell will start, I believe, with control of this initial start, with Bryce Senesac behind him. And Brent Punkari, looks like he'll get an EOL as well. He might have... No, he also had an EOL. So only the 77 and 09 with no EOLs. This is essentially a single-file restart.
Be interesting. Actually, looks like Clayton Johnson's taking up position on the outside. So this will be interesting. So... And looks like they're getting ready to go. And Jacob Bell on the back of the pace truck. That might hurt him here because the 225's got a massive run on the outside. Maybe too much of a run in the wall.
A little bit too much on the top side. He had him if he didn't do that, but that might give room to might give Jacob Bell the room that he needs. Maybe to try to hold on to this thing.
Yeah, well, I think definitely would have got it had that not happened. Jacob Bell, though, still trying to hold off strong here in a big dive as Bell got sideways out of turn 2. Didn't quite get the power down, so open up the door. Here comes Johnson to the inside.
He's not getting through the corners, especially on exit the way he needs to. Johnson's able to point his nose the way he needs to. A little bit of contact there almost as Bell just not getting through those corners the way he needs to. And I think Johnson's got it.
Yeah, I think just lacking the confidence that Johnson has in that car. It's harder for him to get off the corners. Battle for 3rd place in behind Bryce Senesac versus Casey Borgmeyer.
Bell's trying to get back. A little contact, Senesac and Borgmeyer. Bell's trying to get him back, but Clayton Johnson against that wall now that we expected the CBUs as he is ripping the high side. It's a logjam 3rd on back.
Yeah, it's a very, very tight race here in behind. There's Jacob York working the outside in the wall a little bit, trying to squeeze the outside of the 101 to see if he can get up to 4th place. And Jacob Bell, someone took the lead in all that. That's amazing.
Clayton Johnson got the wall in 1 and 2 again. He gave it right back to the 77. He's going to slide him in anger and frustration. It's not going to work. What a crossover from the 77. Here comes another slide job. That's going to be contact. And you're coming to the white flag.
White flag, hard fun racing here. Jacob Bell trying to see if he can get a win in one of these heats. 225 in the wall. Jacob Bell also going to get into the wall, get into him. Jacob Bell now in the lead. Bryce Senesac looking if he can charge on through and sneak a win to the line. Bryce Senesac out of nowhere at the line.
By 14 one-thousandths of a second. What just happened? That was crazy.
Woo. You see Travis Becker's reaction. he had an amazing reaction to that as well. He couldn't believe what he just saw.
I don't think either his dad or his grandpa couldn't believe it either. He had to go see what was going on. That was crazy. Every time Clayton Johnson got the lead, he just pushed the high side a little bit too far in 1 and 2. And Jacob Bell looked at me, kind of used him up a little more than he probably should have. And I don't think Clayton Johnson's going to be happy about that because he's now got a lot of work to do. But that means it'll be fun for us because he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to get through a lot of cars tonight.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the replay and see, because we do have a bit of time while they got the warm-up session and go over the rules, but we definitely got to take a look and see what happened there his last couple laps. I actually wanted to take a look and see if we can look at that initial pass that we missed.
Yeah, everything just kicked off those final 2 to 3 laps. It just, I don't know what the issue was. Maybe just pushing the limits too much. Maybe it could have been simple as that, but Clayton Johnson just kept going up into the wall at that specific end of the track. He didn't really have that problem in 3 and 4, but turns 1 and 2, he just kept sliding too far up.
Yeah, so there he is getting into the wall. There's Jacob Bell working his way on through. And this is coming to 2 to go, and they started really swapping positions here. And meanwhile, that battle in behind was very, very intense. So they were all building up on one another as this started to develop here. So back and forth between both of them. Then a white flag in the air, final lap. Johnson threw it a little bit hard there, caught the wall in 1 and 2. Jacob Bell saw the opportunity, threw it in there maybe a little bit too hard. And then near the front of the field, coming to the line.
Just got him. Yeah. I mean, definitely Bell used up too much room in 2. There's no doubt about it. He stuffed Clayton Johnson in the wall, but that brings Senesac into it. After Jacob York, we saw him throw a huge slider, and Senesac, I think he saw what Bell did. He was like, all right, I can do that. I think it's all fair if he did it, and he just made sure he got to the line first.
Yeah, right on board from Bryce Senizak's point of view, this is coming to the white flag here.
I'll be thinking here, hey, maybe they'll reckon I'll have a chance.
And then right there with the 77 and the 225 in the wall they go, and then has a chance, throws up the inside.
Really have a chance.
Had a really clean fought battle there to get the win in that. So very well fought for Bryce Senizak. And that'll move him up to third place starting in the main event. Don't want to do that.
He needs a backup car, though, unfortunately, as does Dalton Kane. But yeah, I mean, oh, goodness. That's how tight this track is. If we get one around, there's going to be at least half the field in it. But it could prove important. I mean, that's a huge deal for Senizak. He's going to be starting this race in third. That could be his highest start of the season for all we know. I'd have to look back at it myself. But it was a very good run to the finish. And like I said, I think he saw what Jacob Bell did to the 225, and he was like, I think all bets are off at this point, so big deal for him to be starting in the third position.
Yeah, really, I think can use a solid run this season. He's had a couple of decent finishes, one top 5, looking to see if he can maybe make that 2. And boost himself further up in the point standing. So there he is sitting in pit lane. Of course, Jacob Cannon, 93, we saw him fight tooth and nail. And I was watching them earlier in practice, him and Travis Beckner going back and forth. And Travis Beckner, in the earlier practice session, before the main session was put up, at one point I saw him, he had 130 laps under his belt.
Yeah, he prepares hard. I mean, he says after the last 3 or 4 weeks that these guys are testing him, and they have been. I mean, these have not been easy wins, and he's had at least 1 or 2 of them gifted to him in the forms of mistakes from either Dalton Kane or Clayton Johnson or a few others. Man, that's like McQueen over there. But, I mean, he's been saying it himself. He needs to be a little bit more prepared, or else these guys are going to catch up to him, like Jacob Cannon. They're going to catch up to him and eventually beat him. So he's got to be on his game. There's no surprise he's putting those laps in.
That's what be on his game and make sure he gets the practice done, because these guys have been making him work for it. 4 poles, 4 wins for Travis Beckner. Looking to see if he can make that 5 wins to his name as we get ready to go here for the Gateway Nationals here at I-55 Raceway. Everyone lined up and ready to go. And we'll go through the first 5 starters here. Travis Beckner will be starting on pole for the main event after taking that win in Heat 1. Jacob Cannon winning Heat 2 to roll off in P2. We saw that amazing fight in Heat 3. Bryce Senizak getting rewarded with a 3rd place starting position. Dalton Kane lined up in the 7 in 4th. 24, Jaden Freiberg lined up in 5th. And Jacob Bell, for his efforts, he'll be starting in 6th in the 77 machine. Very solid front few rows of drivers. Typical drivers we do see near the front of the field. We'll see what these drivers can do tackling the banking here, which will definitely be a change up after you're going to quite a few of the flatter dirt tracks around the country.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more banked bull rings that we'll go to. 1/3 mile racetrack. You'll see these drivers testing the limits of that outside wall like Clayton Johnson was, but we'll see that a little later for sure. We'll see probably both lanes come in as that track temp 69 degrees. Very, very humid. And the wind, don't think it'll play that much of a factor at a track this small, as I believe the only main race EOL is the Clayton Johnson, but after he got put in the wall on the final lap, it's really not that big of a deal. He was going to start back there anyways, but this should be fun to see him rip through the field. He's ready. He's already trying to get that top line worked in a little bit, but if this race goes green, even if there's only 1 or 2 yellows, it's going to be tough to get to the 27 and 93 most likely. We might even see Ryan Sabot get up there. We know the pace Dalton Kane shows every week. Freiberger. There's a lot of players in this one.
A lot of players in this one indeed. We'll see if someone can change up the balance of power in this series so far. It's been in Beckner's hands. 4 wins to his name. Can someone change that tonight? Field rolling through 3 and 4, waiting for Beckner to jump on it. There he goes. We're green, 50 laps on the board here at I-55 Raceway. Field rocketing around this racetrack, can barely keep up with the cameras as Beckner takes the lead away. Jacob Cannon trying to change that in for 2nd place. Jake Freiberg trying to take 3rd place away from the 09.
He's really the first one testing the outside line, while the leaders still kind of run the middle bottom part of the racetrack, really closer to the bottom than they are in the middle. And Jacob Cannon making work a little bit better. He's looking to be inside of Beckner, and he is got positioning. They're almost dead even at a turn number 4 as the fight for 3rd still goes on.
Fight still going on hard for the top of the order, and even right behind them. Jake Freiberg will break free. Bryce Senizek, Dalton Kane now fighting for third, and don't count on Jacob Bell there on the outside.
Stay green. It looks like Case Lakatos booted Jordan Martin. It did not bring out a yellow, and everyone kept it going, but you could tell Jacob Cannon's got speed, but so does that 24.
He's waiting for it. He's ready to go. Try to take this lead back and see if he can get his car up in the lead. He's been chasing Beckner all season long, and now has also chased Jacob Cannon, who's going to throw to the inside of Beckner, maybe use him up a little bit.
I think Cannon thought that Beckner was going to take away the top side, so he went for a slider, but Beckner kind of went to the bottom. I don't even think he was trying to cover a slide job. That's just kind of what happened. Now we got three drivers all on top of each other going for the lead. There's more contact between Cannon and Beckner, and he's still hitting him up the racetrack. Now Cannon's got the lead. How will Beckner respond? He shows him a little bit. Here comes Freiberger to the inside, trying to get both of them.
Saw Freiberger, he was trying to use his favorite line, the outside line, and he had to get off of it because they stopped out there. Ooh, 93-27 getting hooked 3 wide in 1 and 2.
Oh, Freiberger had to jam the brakes. He got the short end of the stick there. Beckner and Cannon are going at it right now. Here comes Dalton Kane. He's joined this fight. 4 cars under a blanket going for the lead. And Freiberger has right front damage, but now the caution is out for Ed Robertson. And that is as frantic as a 10-lap run as you'll get.
Take a look and see what happened. Who'd that come out for? Ed Robertson, you said? Oh, yep, that's definitely why.
Oop, look out.
Facing the wrong way around. We'll take a look and see what happened. Oh, I think there might have been contact here with Brad Slaughter. Had a really good starting position. I believe started in row 4. Not sure if Slaughter hit the wall. He hit the wall. Oh. And it caused a big check up in the inside lane. Borgmeyer involved a little bit. Whoa, and a lot of drivers doing a pretty good job, actually, of getting around that.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. I don't know what happened. I guess Slaughter just, I don't know what that was. Like, I don't know if he was trying to get to the bottom or he had an issue and wanted to pit, but he just hit the inside wall on entry pretty hard. Yeah, just a little bit of a mistake, I suppose. Robertson nowhere to go, and 101 of Borgmeyer had nowhere to go. But that could have been a lot worse, as Jacob York has called it a race. I don't know where he got damage from. He might have gotten damage from something else. That, or he just decided to take it behind the wall. Did not see an incident for him, so York already out.
Fortunate to see you might have had some decent pace. Taking a look at Travis Beckner here and Jacob Cannon, as they got a little chance to reset it and start again side by side. You can see the concentration on their face. They're ready to go. This is going to be a hard-fought one here up at the top of the order as we get ready to go back green immediately. Beckner leading them on down. Cannon to the outside. Back green they will go once more. A decent start for Beckner.
Cannon got a good run off of 4 to stay right with the 27 and maybe jacking the rear end of that 27 up a little bit as Cannon, first one to move to the top side. Beckner's going to have to drive a hard 3 and 4 to try to keep behind. But here comes Cannon with the slide job. Beckner covered it again. There's contact again, and Beckner gets shoved out of line, and Jacob Cannon's got the lead, and Kane's got second.
Kane's got second for now. Beckner trying to work it back hard on the bottom. See if he can take that spot back. And will at least secure. Whoa, as Dalton Kane moves Cannon out of the way. Oh, more contact with the 93. Around he goes. Caution out. Big wreck in the midfield.
No caution. Caution didn't come. Beckner got away with the lead through all that. How is there not a caution?
Somehow the race official sleeping at the button. That's going to allow a big separation through the order. Now Jacob Cannon and how about Clayton Johnson up into 3rd place through the smoke.
And caution came out, I think, for Jordan Navarro and Jaden Freiberger trying to get the pit lane with damage. I don't know how it wasn't a yellow initially, but how did Clayton Johnson get through all this? But first off, it's just crazy racing. I think Dalton Kane, kind of like the Heat 3, he saw the contact. He's like, all right, it's game. And they just got locked together to 7 and 93. Kane got turned across the entire field. Looks like Navarro and Freiberger got the worst end of it, but Dalton Kane got some pretty big damage himself. That almost looks like 93's kind of just got the hit from the 7. He's like, all right, let me just try to turn a little bit left here, get you off of me, and keep my car clean. But yeah, it looked like 24.
Curious to see if the admins will rule anything on that. That'll just be deemed a racing deal.
No doubt he causes the contact. He just drives through them. It definitely looks like 93's not trying to turn right off of him for sure. And yeah, poor Navarro and Freiberger got the worst end of that for sure. And Clayton Johnson's just able to get through all at the 3rd.
He's actually already up there pretty well, and it just happened to be a wreck and got past another 2 or 3 drivers with that wreck. So he'll be starting up in 3rd and get ready for the restart. A couple of drivers out with some damage. We'll see what they can do here back at the top of the order. Beckner leading them down again. Green flag back in the air. Beckner, Cannon, and Clayton Johnson, your top three. But Zabot, watch out for him on the top side. He's working strong as well.
He can stay out of that mess. I like where he is because I think it's a ticking time bomb with those top three up there. Beckner, Cannon, Johnson. I mean, we know how aggressive they will get the elbows out. They already have gotten the elbows out. It's Clayton Johnson making that bottom work. Almost got second away from Cannon. As you could see that bottom side kind of going away. The grip kind of fading. That top side looks to be the destination as we're almost pushing the limits on 3 wide.
Everyone looking for any sort of grip where they can find it as the track gets more and more used up as we head closer to halfway. And now with Johnson working that inside lane, he's being held up. Zabot now trying to work to the outside. Kind of third for a second there off the corner. Still racing hard as now Jacob Cannon's fully committed to that outside.
Oh, he almost got to the outside of Beckner. Now he's going to throw the slider again, and this time there's no contact. Beckner saw it coming. The perfect crossover to get the spot back as Zabot almost clear for that third position on Clayton Johnson. And Jordan Martin joining the fight. He got spun before the first yellow came out. Now he's up to 5th.
Looking to see where he can get that opportunity back once again, but Beckner, they've been trading blows. This is exactly how I'd seen them run in practice, just trading blows against one another. The 93, a little bit of a tap to the rear of the 27, sends him sideways. We want to tap to the outside wall in turns 1 and 2. Zabot trying to make a charge. Can't really do anything of it. Jordan Martin joined the fray here in the top 5.
And now that groove is really moved to the top side. Not much left on the bottom side. Although Clayton Johnson's going to continue to try it because there's really nowhere else to go besides stay on the outside freight train. But he's got to be careful not let Jordan Martin get that spot. Martin throws into the middle of the racetrack trying to get some grip and did not get the run off as we've single filed these top 5 or so out as Beckner taps the wall. Causes a chain reaction. Connor Hughes is back up to the 6th position. Senesac, Borgmeyer, and then Freiberger back to 9th. Punkari at the top 10.
Yeah, Borgmeyer trying to work up with a damaged race car. This is where a lot of the drivers ended up getting into incidents. 24 trying to salvage another night. Unfortunately got caught up in the racing up at the top of the order and just got put down back in the top 10 though. We'll see if he can try to climb back up maybe with a few cautions here and there. Oh, and I think Clayton Johnson might have made a mistake. Lost a bit of time with Zabot. That's top 2 separate out. Johnson throwing it in 3 and 4.
He's been working that bottom, just not quite getting enough momentum to make it work, but he got position that he wants on the outside, and I think he might have the spot. Great move there to get the positioning on the outside. There's a spin. There's crashing out of turn 2. It's Freiberger involved. I think Senesac and him might have had a tap. Freiberger went around. He clipped the 7 of Dalton Kane. He's going to have to get the pit lane. Will it be a yellow? Nope. He gets off track. We stay green as lap traffic comes into play a little bit for these leaders.
Taking a quick look at what happened on the replay. Bryce Senesac got caught in the corner. Borgmeyer and then hooked the 24 and into the wall hard for him. That's what's going to cause Freiberger to retire out of yet another race. Unfortunate end to what could have been a very solid night for him. But you mentioned lap traffic starting to come into play. Everyone lapping at Robertson at the moment and looking off the nose of Travis Beckner. Still a couple more lap cars just up the road in the near future.
Oh, I don't know what happened to the 93 or anything, but definitely Travis Beckner's gotten the gap he needs to maybe settle in just a little bit, keeps him a little bit tighter on it for the final 20 laps and any potential restart. This thing's going to fly by. We're already 30 laps in, coming to 20 to go. 13-second laps. It's going to go in a hurry. So if you're Jacob Cannon, you got to figure something out.
Got to figure something out or hope someone's arm is itchy. That's the thing, though. Resetting the order is going to be the only way you can really get back to Beckner at the moment, or catching lap traffic in a bad place. Speaking of which, you're going to come up on Jacob Bell, who is, I think, going to stick to the inside lane with the leaders committing to the top. Try to stay out of the carnage. Bryce Senesac and Brad Slaughter doing battle. Brad Slaughter looking to catch back up through the order, back up to 7th through all the carnage. He's
done a good job recovering after the inside wall hit. A lot of damage on that 8, but it's looking better than a lot of the other cars in this field. We're already down York, Navarro, Freiberger, and Bell and Robertson laps down at this point. So just keep it on the track. You're in for a good finish as the battle for 4th is on. Zabot trying to make the bottom and top work. He's really just trying to defend on Jordan Martin any way possible. But Martin's been pretty quick at this point in the run.
Yeah, that outside lane is definitely the place to be. You can see big contracts between the heats, and now just looking at the racetrack visually, but you can see the drive out the corner much better on the outside, and Jordan Martin should effectively take the lead, or not the lead, should take the lead of this battle, take 4th place away. Clayton Johnson working on the 93 for 2nd place, as Beckner's almost got a 2nd gap lead.
I think he might be a touch faster than Cannon, but this pass, it's going to take a number of laps, but at the same time, he has to go as quick as possible if he wants a chance at that 27. I think he has the speed. Cannon goes to the inside to maybe to defend a little bit or just try something different, but this could be the avenue for Clayton Johnson to get the second position, as it's definitely Cannon just trying something on the bottom of the racetrack, but not quite working. Johnson's got the outside as there's heavy lap traffic coming up for Beckner, so this is an important battle.
Important battle for position riding on board, and look at this mess for Beckner. Where do you even go? And he's got to think of something quick because he's only got a second gap. I mean, it's a decent gap, but he can't lie behind these guys for too long.
Johnson tried the slider at 3 and 4, just didn't work. Cannon's going to give him the business right back as they're kind of taking each other out of a chance to get Beckner. Beckner's going to fire to be inside of Christian DeBoer. He gets 3 wide with Punkari and Casey Lacadas. He gets through all of it in one move. Huge move for him.
Yeah, I know we don't reward a move of the race, but if there was one, it would be that. Here we go through lap traffic. The two drivers fighting for second place, battling side by side, and it'll be Johnson that'll win out in that battle. And it was just a misplaced car for Cannon that will cost him second place.
That's a big deal. Clayton Johnson, he's got to go now. This track is done. It's really nothing left on the bottom in 3 and 4. There's a little life left on the bottom in 1 and 2 he made work, but he's going to have to figure something out. They are planting that right rear quarter panel on the wall, and he is gaining.
Yeah, just look at how put down that racetrack is. There's very little loose dirt. It's so compacted all across the track. These drivers struggling for grip here in these final laps, and we could potentially see a caution here in the late going. That's the last thing Beckner wants to see.
I don't know what he wants to see right now because Clayton Johnson is chasing him down. 10th per lap. It was another 10th that time by. They're both hitting the wall pretty hard, and they still have traffic to deal with. They have to pass Robertson again, but they got Borgmeyer around the bottom. But after that, it should be clear track.
Clayton Johnson here, potentially with a late race charge, getting around Ed Robertson. Both him and Beckner hard on the wall, searching for every ounce of grip they can find. Big gap between themselves and Jacob Cannon. He's effectively out it for the race win.
I think Dalton Kane gave Jacob Cannon a little bit of a boot, but did not wreck him, but definitely took Cannon way off the battle as Clayton Johnson trying to close in. He is almost there pretty much. He gained a lot in 1 and 2 last time by, but he's only got 3 more laps.
Running out of time, 3 laps. That's effectively 30 seconds around here.
Gotta run.
And here he goes, run with the lap car. That's going to definitely cost him. Borgmeyer is probably going to have to get out of the way here. He goes up high. That's going to cost Beckner to check up and go to the inside.
Really hurt Beckner. It's going to give Clayton Johnson some sort of run, you would think, but it really didn't work. And now Borgmeyer just trying to get away. What a slide job. Look at this move. He hit the wall extremely hard, maybe too hard. White flag's out. Beckner's away.
Yeah, that might have been it for Clayton Johnson here, unless Beckner makes a huge mistake. It was a decent charge, a valiant effort for the 225 up for Beckner. In the wall out of 3 and 4. He'll come sliding across the line. 5th win of the season for him.
And it gets... Ryan Zabot gets that 3rd position away as Clayton Johnson fell to 4th. Great job just to get it to the line. He left it all on the line for sure, but it's 5 in a row for Travis Beckner.
Oh boy, let's take a look and see what happened to Clayton Johnson there at the end. Ooh, 93 in the 22-25 making contact, getting pushed out of the way. Now, I'm sure Johnson's going to be thrilled about that. Jake Buchanan fighting hard back to get a decent finish out of this.
We have to go back to that slider he tried, too. I mean, that was crazy. I could not believe how far he threw it into that corner.
He gave it everything he's got. As Travis Beckner will park it on the front straightaway there. And we'll celebrate a victory. Well, and you mentioned taking a look back at that slider that Clayton Johnson threw. He definitely made it entertaining at the end there. Got to hand it to him.
Ooh. I think Bryce Senesek got booted by Connor Hughes at the end as well, but that was obviously not what we were looking at. It's already happened at this point. I mean, he sees an opportunity, he goes for it, and he just overcooked it by a mile. I think just a little bit less than he has a chance to really have positioning on Beckner, but I think he probably assumed this was his last chance, really, and he just went for it. I
think he realized he had to just get up there, park the bus while he's on the outside, and just hope it's stuck, because there is next to no grip on this track at the moment. So, an unfortunate end for his race, but I mean, he ended up getting 4th. He'd probably be a little bit more disappointed with that, considering what could have been. Well, let's go through your race results here at the end. With Travis Beckner taking the win. Solid job for him. Jacob Cannon lined up in 2nd place. Ryan Zabot in 3rd. Clayton Johnson in 4th. Jordan Martin 5th. Brad Slaughter 6th. Connor Hughes in 7th. Bryce Senesek in 8th with Borgmeyer 9th. Lacadas in 10th.
I think there was contact between Hughes and Senesac at the end there. That's why Senesac dropped a little bit. DeBoer 11th, Pancari 12th. This was a very fast race, so no surprise to see a lot of drivers a lap down. Robertson, Bell, Kane, they all had damage. So 13th to 15th for them. Shame for Jaden Freiberger, caught up in both of the early wrecks and nothing of his doing. Navarro 17th after having a really good qualifying effort. And then Jacob York and Carter Coop. Coop didn't start the race. York did, and that's your 19 finishers.
All right, with that, let's go to our interviewees here. And I thought we would have been talking to Clayton Johnson. Unfortunately, just missed out on that. We'll be talking to Ryan Zabot, who snuck his way into a third-place finish there at the end, Ryan. We saw you. It was crazy at the beginning, and it was crazy at the end. Walk us through how your race went.
Man, it was a crazy race and a quick race as well. Those 50 laps go by quick on that track. It was a weird race. I was sort of biding my time like last week, and really didn't expect to finish top 3. I know that Clayton right there, I think he broke his right front at the end, snuck in there, but man, it was just a weird track. Everybody was trying to find the top right there, and or what was left of the top, anyways.
Yeah, and talk to us about that. We know how difficult it is, especially once the lines start to go away, at the end. Was there anywhere really to go for grip? Was it just keeping it on the high line as much as possible, or was there any sort of grip at the bottom?
Well, toward the end there, I found a little bit of traction in the middle. We're just trying to keep, diamond the corner a little bit and just keep it straight, and was just maintaining, because there was nothing left on the top, and the bottom was just so slow you had to pinch it off, that you could sort of roll the middle there and gain a little bit, toward the end. But middle of the race, it was definitely top dominant. Everybody was fighting for the top.
All right, Ryan. Well, it's a hard-fought victory, or really, should say hard-fought third place for you. Very solid job. Started in 8th, up to 5th. Really solid performance there. Congratulations on your top 3.
Awesome. Thank you, man. You have a good night.
You too as well. So rounding out there with Ryan Zabot, we'll move on to our second place finisher, who we thought would have been third place there right up until the last lap, Jacob Cannon. Jacob, we saw you fought really hard throughout the race with Travis Beckner and a couple other drivers. Walk us through how the race went.
Race went pretty smooth. I just wish the 7 would have used his head instead of sitting there adoring me. I have the girlfriend in here. She stopped by, so she's here now. But yeah, I don't know what the 7's thinking. I mean, I had the car set up to win the thing just about. Didn't mean to slide it up on Travis like I did, but races are going to happen like that. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, it really is how it is. But, looking at, the rest of the schedule as we're just nearing the halfway point of this season, any tracks in particular you feel like you got circled and have in mind for trying to get your first victory of the season?
Lucas Oil's been on my calendar. I mean, I've got a crap ton of practice at that track. I've done some testing, and I believe that track's going to be on our calendar for a win.
All right, well, Jacob, hard-fought second place for you. Unfortunately, just came shy of the victory here tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
I appreciate it.
And moving on from Jacob Cannon in second place, a driver we've been getting all too familiar for talking here at the end of the race, and the last one to talk to us because he's the one taking home the victory, Travis Beckner. Travis, we talked about you all race long. They're up near the front. Jacob Cannon was fighting with you. Freiberg was fighting with you at one point, but somehow you managed to come home, checkered flag in hand, and tell us how you managed to get it done for a 5th time this season.
Yeah, I don't think there was one time this race where I was full throttle. Majority of the race, I was quarter throttle down. At most I was 3/4 throttle down the straightaway. I was just trying to save my right rear the whole time, and then I seen what's his name coming up behind me, and I opened it up a little bit, and he threw Clayton Johnson. He threw that slider in turn 3, and I seen him knock his spoiler off. I'm like, all right, well, that's it. Just back it down for this last lap and bring it across the line. So.
Yeah, so tell us, speaking of which, tell us how, the racetrack evolved, and then also, especially coming up the end, the lap cars, how that managed to be a factor for you.
Oh, dude. I've been waiting for one of these races where we were racing in lap cars. I love racing when lap cars come around. You gotta actually move around, get by the lap cars. And definitely was interesting right there when I came off of turn 2 and I seen him almost wrecking. Shot low in 3 and 4, wrapped the bottom really good, got a good run off of 4, and was able to get by them real quick and took off from there. And then, like I said, Clayton Johnson had a good run coming back up through the field. Once again, these guys keeping me on my toes though, so just need to keep on punching away. And can I please get this bounty put on me now, Dawson? I've been waiting on this thing. Like, five wins. You gave Tyler Gary a bounty after 3. Come on, give me a bounty.
Yeah, I think you definitely deserve one at this point. Looking at your points lead now, it's expanded to 73 points, and from my math, that's just over 2 races worth of full getting wins to catch back up to you. And that's you getting none and not even intending. So definitely curious to see what everyone else has in store for you, but another solid win for you.
Well, they're definitely going to close up on me when Fairbury comes around, because I will not be there for that race unless somebody can let me use their sim rig in Michigan for a few hours. Then I would be able to race it, but I will not be making that race, so they'll be able to close up on the gap on that. But also, before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Hendry County Motorsports Park, Wilson Race Cars. Gotta thank Splash Go Graphics and Cosman for making this paint scheme. Y'all taking the time out of your day to broadcast this. I will keep on saying it in and out every week until I'm blue in the face or 6 feet under. Single-handedly best broadcast on iRacing. I gotta thank everybody for watching. Everybody that came out that race tonight. Tell you what, these short tracks are getting a little they're getting a little rough now.
It's getting intense. Everyone wants to take that crown away from you, Travis. Thanks for talking to us.
Oh wait, hang on. I'm sorry. Before I forget again, I'm waiting for my dad to run in the room and tell me thank you, grandparents. Thank you, Grandma Vicky and Granddad Dave. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. And thank you, Jeff. And also thank you, Patrick, for watching tonight.
All right, Travis. Thanks for talking to us as always.
All right, thank you. Good night.
All right, and with that, it's going to be wrapping up things here. The Gateway Nationals, they have been certainly entertaining here tonight. Never a dull moment with the series.
No, never at all. And that was a great race. You had our incidents here and there, but a mostly green race. Well, we went probably 40-ish laps to the end there, and like Travis said, it was really cool to see lap traffic come into play, because unfortunately that's not really something we see in oval racing on asphalt, because you just don't get the green flag runs. But at a bull ring like this, where the pace discrepancy is a lot bigger, we did see a lot of drivers, and a lot of damaged cars as well, but a lot of drivers struggling, and we saw lap traffic because of it, and it almost changed the outcome of this race. Clayton Johnson, he gets slider of the day. That didn't work, I suppose. It was a heck of a send, and if that worked, it would have been an all-timer. Just didn't have enough, but props to him just limping that thing around to get to the 4th position, getting something out of the day. But it's going to move him up to 7th in points, actually, so he really got something out of the day. Even though he's missed 3 races at least, he's 7th in points. But Travis Beckner, he extended that point lead. He still doesn't have the most top 5s and top 10s alone. Jordan Martin keeps keeping up with him, got the 5th, and it's a 73-point gap for Beckner. And if he misses a race, Jordan Martin's going to be right back in it.
Yeah, we'll be right back in. It still could be very close. Still have a lot of racing left this season, including next week coming up. Crown Jewel double points available for these drivers. This will be the 2nd Crown Jewel of the season. It'll be the VDRA Virtual 100 at Lucas Oil Speedway. 100 laps on the board for these drivers, and then right before the summer break starts, we'll be off until June 9th, continuing the second half of the season. So still a lot of racing left to go. Still a lot of chance for drivers to catch back up to Travis Beckner in the standings, and we've seen a lot of competition at the very top of the order. It's intense, and we'll see what's coming up here in the next couple weeks. But for now, my name is Fiona Kuna here with Connor Horn, wrapping up coverage here from I-55 Raceway. Thank you for watching.